Alright, yo, listen, it's your brother Jersey John. We out here rocking out with rebleTV. We about to have a crazy interview. The fucking train. Yo, that's a nice...
Bro, Jersey John, here we are. Thank you for being here, bro.
We litty, bro. Thank you for having me, bro.
Appreciate
for real.
you. So let's get right down to it.
Okay.
We got one of the biggest DJs in Jersey here today.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, for most artists, DJs in general, originality is first preceded by a phase of learning and often emulating from others. What was this like for you? How would you describe your own development as a DJ?
So my development as a DJ, bro, I've been DJing for about 4 years now, and I've been just going with the flow, because when I started DJing, like, it was honestly on some, like, I was a cool, popular high school kid, and I was just doing it honestly for the clout and to have fun and to have a good time with people. And then as time went on, I realized that there was a lot of money opportunities and networking opportunities and a bunch of things that I could actually take from what I was having fun with. So I started growing with that in high school, and developmental process just started coming after that. Honestly, my senior year, things started picking up. I started understanding concepts, started building great connections, started meeting great people. It honestly just picked up from there. So yeah, I mean, that's my process. I didn't really put too much work in the beginning, because I was just doing the steps by having fun with it, honestly. I got, first of all, with Fatboy SSE is because I started working with his manager. I actually reached out numerous of times beforehand, and I couldn't even catch his damn attention. And then I started working with his manager, and then I kind of felt like I had something to prove, or I had values to show him. And then I showed his manager at first, and he kind of put the good word in for me, and then I was able to make my way up to Fat, and we built a connection. I knew him maybe a couple months before we went on tour, maybe even a year. I knew him before then, but I didn't build that connection until I actually had to sit down in the car and you know, build that relationship with him every day, spending literally every hour together. So once we did that, we solidified a great relationship. Spending a lot of time with him, bro. Fat on camera and Fat behind the camera is still a great person. He's honestly very wholehearted. There's nothing else to say about him. He's a great person. So I started producing, about 4 months ago? I started taking it serious. Like, I bought equipment about a year ago, and then I just used the speakers, honestly, as speakers connected to my computer, and that shit just bumped. But I started getting to the production aspect when I actually lost my Instagram, because I was like, all right, if I'm going to come back, I'm going to come back stronger and with new skill sets. I honestly just started asking people for help. I didn't have no shame with, hey, how do you do this? How do you use this? How do I export? Like, even the simplest things, I asked any friend that I knew that knew how to produce, and I was like, yo, how can I go about this? How can I learn from you? I was producing a little bit on tour, I was producing here and there, and then I got the hang of it, and now I got maybe a beat pack of like 100 beats right now. I'm not really dishing all of them out right now. I mean, I sell a couple beats here and there, but I don't want too many people to have their hands on it, simply because I'm not going to be a producer sending out to my beats and be like, yo, I need you on it. I'm already at a platform that with DJing, I was able to do all these one-off shows and work with all these big artists, that my next moves are going to be working with the big artists and putting the big artists on the track, not just getting the next artist on my track, because I still have to value myself as an artist. Ooh, that's interesting that you say that. My challenges currently, bro, is honestly just mentally. It sounds a little crazy to say that, but my biggest challenge is with myself, because one day I could be in Miami, and then the next day I could fly out to LA, and then I could do like 5 other shows after that. And then I come at home, and then I sit back, and I'm like, okay, cool, I got one free day. And then I sit to myself, and I'm like, yo, fuck, I'm not doing anything with my life. I'm just, you feel me? I'm like a Saturday night, and I'm at home. And it just sounds crazy, because those are the little things that really just like almost set me back in my own head. I could be out and I could be doing all this, but then at the same time I think about it, and then I look at the things that I already did, and spending one Saturday at home is not going to kill me. And I feel like that's probably my biggest challenge as of right now, because I do a lot, but then at the same time when I'm not doing anything, I'm fighting myself feeling like I'm doing nothing. That's a great question. That's something I should probably even think about. As far as the sound, bro, like I wouldn't say I have a sound. Like, I don't really focus too much on the sound. I mainly focus on, as a DJ, I focus on my personality, because I feel like a lot of DJs drown out worrying about their sound. Like, it's cool, I understand, yeah, DJ's main focus is providing music and providing this and that, but to have a persona, you kind of need to have characteristics that people like.
Jersey, you say JON, Jersey,
You need to have that face, you need to be able to communicate, especially stage presence. That's probably my biggest thing that I focus on before I focus on my sound. So if I'm in a DJ at a concert, 100% original. You do not want to mess with it too much because you're in front of a crowd of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. They want to listen to what they're going to expect. It's the general population. If you're at a club and there's a little less people and people are drinking and having a good time, start playing with it because sometimes people might love it and talk about you for the next 2, 3, even a couple months, or people might hate it and just be like, you know what, fuck it. It's only a night. So I will usually make remixes or mess with them more at clubs and fraternity parties and stuff like that compared to concerts. When I'm doing concerts, it's a clean-cut set, really hyped, and then prioritizing content mainly. So once we started moving away from the tri-state area, I realized that it really did matter who you play. Bro, it makes a big difference in that. I guess that's something that I learned when I was on tour. Obviously, it was a given that it was probably going to make a difference, but it wasn't registering in my head at first why I should play specific artists. So I guess that's something I definitely learned on the road and then built on it as time went on. When I prepare my set, I usually go off the vibe. Like what I expect, like I'll take a prediction on what I'm going to go see. So if I'm going to go to a frat and I know that there's about to be a bunch of white people, I'm going to prepare a nice little white set with a little hip-hop and EDM and have a good time. If I'm going somewhere that's probably more predominantly hood people, then I'm going to have a couple turn-up songs, more hip-hop, and try to toss in a couple new tracks. But it really depends on where I'm going, and I'll probably know that in advance. So that's how I start setting up my sets. It definitely is a handful, but honestly, what I would say is I like filling my plate as much as I can. I like having no time. So even on top of that I'm doing this production, event coordinating, DJing, and all these things that I do, I actually added school on top of that, right? Because I went to Kane University. I absolutely hated the school. I don't mean to trash on it, but I had a terrible experience over there. I just didn't like it. And then I took a gap year, and then I decided to go back to school because I was finding myself I wouldn't say have too much free time, but I was spoiling myself with what I loved doing. I was growing, but at the same time, I felt like I was at a sit still because I would sit on my phone all day, look at pages, look at girls, look at this, hey, what I'm going to do this weekend. And it kind of just like ruined that whole cycle that I had going for myself. And that's when I realized that I need to go back to school. So I went back to school, and it just started getting better for me because I was focusing on school, and then I kind of like rewarded myself with production. I rewarded myself with DJing. I rewarded myself with all these things. So, like, yeah, I love producing all day. Yeah, I love DJing all day. Yeah, I love setting up events all day. But when I found out that my, my progress or the way that I would execute things would be at a higher rate when I had less time, and it's simply just because I'm scheduling myself. So that's for anybody thinking that you can't do this and go to school, that's completely false. Whether it's online or going to class, you could definitely do it. That's what I'm doing right now, and I'm actually finding a lot more success while being in school rather than not being in school.
That's very interesting because you'd figure most people it's the opposite, but for you, you added something on top of your already heavy schedule, and that helped you balance things out.
Yeah, because I didn't want to spoil myself with something that I loved. Like it made no sense to me because then I would do it, and then just the progress or the effort that I really put into it when I was spoiled by it wasn't the same. Because let's say if I know I have to write a paper and I know I have a bunch of things to do at school, cool, let me get those shits done. I'm not saying I'm rushing through everything, but let me get everything done. Let me learn a couple things, and then let me reward myself with what I want to do. Then let me reward myself DJing. Let me go have fun. Let me go do this. Because I'm going to be honest with you, everything that I do, I have fun with. And like even the school stuff, I love going to school. I love meeting new people because at the end of the day, I see that as a networking opportunity. And any class that I'm taking right now, I'm also taking like principal management, my financial accounting class, like stuff like that. I'm trying to implement in my business right now, so I don't feel like it's a waste of time. Honestly, after I went on tour with Fat, I would say that's probably the moment that I was like, yo, this is for me. There was so much going through my head at that time that I was like, honestly, if I could get through this tour and still do what I need to do and still meet the people that I need to meet, then this is for me. And then that's where it was like the make it or break it for me because I was able to go on tour meet a ton of new people, learn a bunch of new skill sets, and then not only that, build as a person.
Was that your first tour?
Yes, that was my first tour. I did a bunch of like little like 3, 4, 5 day tours, small tours like that, but that was my first 25 city tour with Fatboy SSE.
Tell us about that experience. How was that for you?
Bro, that shit was fun. Honestly, I had nights that I loved being there, and then I also had nights that I hate being there. We had to travel in a van of 12 people, so I had to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable and learning how to accept decisions when it's not made just by me, because we had to deal with the 12 other people. So I didn't get to go to the bathroom when I wanted to. I didn't get to eat when I wanted to. I didn't get to sleep when I wanted to. The things that I liked about the tour was probably the experiences, bro. Like how people value little things in different states. Like people like, oh, I hate being from Jersey. Bro, like when we were, in Indiana, people were like, wait, you're going to DJ for me? Like I was DJing for some of the openers, and they were like, no way. Like they were like, yo, I thought we were just going to aux it. And like little stuff like that, like blew my mind. I was like, I didn't really think I was doing such a huge act of kindness. But they were like, yeah, we don't really see that over here. People do this and people do that. And I was like, wow. So that was very, very eye-opening for me, seeing how people appreciate different things differently. And then, I don't know, bro, just traveling and seeing the sights and learning on other people's cultures. Those were probably the biggest things that I loved on tour. So I had a great time. Between DJing, producing, and event coordinating, or just production and DJing?
Between the three, yeah.
Event coordinating, by far my favorite. So I like doing the event coordinating simply because I'm able to put on for other people, I'm able to make money, I'm able to put on for myself, I'm able to build relationships, and not only that, I'm able to make memorable moments. So if you've ever been to any of my shows, what I actually do is I will make, or I will provide, or I'll put something there that people all have to get involved with. I mean, I'm not saying have to, but get involved with. So, for example, I don't know if it was the Thanksgiving drive or if it was the toy drive, but I put a little box, and then I was like, yo, I want you guys to write a prayer or thanks, and write it down and put it in the box, and I'm going to pick a couple of them, and we're going to pray upon them, whether it was very general or if it was to themselves. They put it in a box, and at the end of it, I actually had maybe like 5 or 6 people pick out their prayers and read their prayers, and we all prayed on it together. And I thought that was a really nice experience that I did.
Let's put a couple prayers in here. It says, please pray for the families that cannot afford to buy their families presents. Please bless them.
Amen.
May the Lord keep you safe, happy, and healthy. Amen.
Amen.
Prayers out to all the single parents. Moms, most of all, love your mom.
Amen. So can I get an amen on 3? 1, 2, 3. Amen. I felt like that was something very interesting because you wouldn't really expect our generation, all these kids, to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pray, or I'm gonna, you know, it just, a religion is very sensitive topic with our generation now. I love putting things together. I love being the head of, and like I don't know, I just like organizing. I like saying, hey, this is the way that I want things to go. Right. And it's not like to be demanding, but I like being a leader. I feel like that's my strongest suit. And yeah, I might be a decent DJ, and I might love going on stage and stuff. But event coordinating is by far my favorite thing to do. So that's probably why you see me spitting out all these shows, because I'm going to school and now I'm really doing what I love. Bro, honestly, this is something about me that a lot of people don't know, is I suck at public speaking, bro. It's just not for me. Like, I get scared simply, and especially when I'm speaking about things, I'm like, oh shit, like, do I know exactly what I'm about to say? Like, when it's not planned, I'm like, oh man, and I really get nervous. But I went to the school. Emilio set that up for me. I went over there, and it was actually supposed to be me, Fat, Emilio, and his manager. But they ended up staying at the studio late as hell with Cowboy, and they had things to do. I woke up early, called them a couple of times. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. So then my levels of stress went from like a 2 to like a 6 or a 7 because I realized that I had to walk in there by myself. I went over there, and I don't know if it was the principal or the guy running it, bro. He just gave me the mic, and he was like, here you go. And I'm standing in front of these kids. There was maybe like 200-300 kids, and I'm standing in front of them. I was like, okay, let me not waste your time. How about you guys just ask me questions?
What were some of the questions that you remember that they were asking?
So one of the questions was really interesting that it stuck to me. Do you have it written down? It was, I told Emilio he has to write this down because it was one of the questions some kid asked me, and I was like, damn, like this is like, it made me self-reflect on myself a lot.
Stance on competition.
Oh, yeah, that was it. The kid, yeah, he asked and he raised his hand. He was like, yo, I really want to know, where do you stand with competition? How do you feel about other DJs and stuff like that? And I was like, how do I feel about competition? And that was a very, very strong question. Simply because a lot of people nowadays are like, oh, I don't want to see the next person win. Wherever you are, whether you're in Jersey, Chicago, Atlanta, sometimes people do not want to see somebody else that they don't like win. Whether they're going to say it or not, it's something. It's true. It's life. So I responded to that question by saying that I do not actually have any competitions. Like, I don't view anybody, whether they're an artist, a DJ, producer. I don't like looking at people as competition, because when I look at their page, then I'm gonna start putting myself down, because I'm gonna start realizing, oh shit, they have something that I want, or they're doing things that I want to do. And then I feel like comparing yourself to other people is extremely unhealthy. So then when people ever ask me, who do you look up to? I don't really say I look up to anybody. I look up to myself, because I know where I want to be. I don't really like looking up to other people. I don't like comparing myself to other people. I just stay in my own lane, and I know that if I keep doing what I'm doing now and keep with the patience, that I will be where I want to be soon. Two things. One, be careful with who you work with, because not working with everybody is the best thing. When I started DJing, I wanted to work with everybody, and then I realized that working with specific people, or people that already have a tarnished name for themselves, could ruin your brand, and that's not something that you want to carry on your shoulders moving forward. And then the second thing, honestly, just stay in your own lane, do your own thing, don't worry about what other people have to tell you, because it's life, and not everybody's going to reach their goal. And if you want to reach your goal, you have to worry about yourself, not other people. But the problem is, I have a problem with separating friendship and business sometimes, because sometimes I really have that heart that I want to help my friends, but at the same time, as much as I help them, sometimes it doesn't do anything. And then I feel like resentful to myself. I'm like, I really just helped my friend do all this, and now where's it left at? Like, I don't want to do things that don't matter, right? Because everything I do, I want it to make an impact.
What about a message for your supporters and the people that look up to you right now?
The people that are supporting me right now, what I want to say is a huge thank you, because I've started to notice that it is more than just people supporting me. It's a movement. So I'm starting to see it as a team. Whether you are with me every day or not, I'm starting to see everybody that's around me as a team. They're contributing to my success immensely. Like, it means so much to me how they're coming out and helping me out with these charity events, and then they're coming out and helping me out with the shows that I'm doing, and supporting everything I do, whether it's an interview, whether it's me DJing somewhere. It's just, it means so much, because I really want to give back to you guys, and hopefully everybody that's supporting me right now doesn't see me as the type of person to kind of just run off with the fame in the future. I want to be very impactful with what I do, and I want to start early. I don't want to make $1 million, make $2 million, and then start helping other people. I want to start helping people now, so they could realize when I do have that $2-3 million under my belt, that I will make a big difference. Matter of fact, I want to toss this in there. If you're going through anything, you need a friend, you want to talk about anything, feel free to hit me up. I mean, I might seem busy on social media, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm still there for people. And all this fame shit and everything that I'm doing doesn't mean anything to me. I'm willing to toss that out for my family. I'm willing to toss that out for my friends. And, I definitely want to help other people, whether they're going through anything right now or in the future. Definitely hit me up. I'm definitely there for everybody, so I want everybody to know that.